Welcome to Adventures with Grandma Bonnie. Today I'm going to share the classic fairy tale about Snow White. Please watch the video all the way to the end. You never know what might happen. At the end of the video, I will provide a link to a playlist of other stories and fairy tales you may enjoy watching. Let's get started. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there was a kind and beautiful young princess named Snow White. She had skin as white as snow, lips as red as roses, and hair as gold as a sunset. But she lived with her stepmother, the evil queen, who was beautiful on the outside, but jealous and cruel on the inside. The evil queen had a magical mirror. Every day she would ask it, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And the mirror would always answer, "You, my queen, are the fairest of them all." This made the evil queen smile, for she loved being the most admired in the kingdom. But as Snow White grew older, her beauty began to shine even brighter. One day, when the evil queen asked her mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" the mirror replied, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." The evil queen was furious. She could not bear the thought of anyone being more beautiful than her. So she made a wicked plan. She called the royal huntsman and ordered, "Take Snow White deep into the forest and never bring her back." The huntsman led Snow White far into the woods, but when he looked into her kind, gentle eyes, he could not do her harm.
Run deep into the forest and never return to the castle. The queen must never find you.
Snow White ran further into the forest, dodging trees and stumbling over roots. Oh, she must have been so scared. It was going to be dark soon, and she was frightened and alone. Just as the sun began to set, she found a tiny cottage hidden among the trees. She approached the cottage very carefully and knocked on the door softly. No one answered. She stepped inside and saw a small table with 4 little chairs and 4 little bowls. Near the stone fireplace were 4 tiny beds. Tired from running, she lay down across the beds and soon fell fast asleep. That evening, the owners of the cottage returned. They were 4 dwarfs who worked in the mountains digging for coal. When they saw Snow White, they gathered round.
Who is this girl?
"She looks tired."
Don't scare her. Maybe she's hurt and needs help.
Snow White woke up and was frightened by the 4 strange characters standing before her. The dwarfs quickly calmed her fears and assured her they wished her no harm. She told them her story, and as they listened, their faces turned serious.
You can stay with us.
"But the queen may come looking for you." "She won't find me here," I'll be careful," Snow White promised, not to open the cottage door for strangers ever. She stayed with the dwarfs, helping with chores, preparing meals, and making the cottage feel like home. They became like family. But far away in her castle, the evil queen once again asked, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And the mirror replied, "Snow White, who lives in the forest with 4 dwarves, is the fairest of them all." Uh-oh. The evil queen was enraged. Using dark magic, she disguised herself as an ugly old woman. She made a shiny red apple and filled it with a terrible sleeping spell. Dressed in a long black hooded coat, the evil queen traveled into the forest looking for the cottage. She finally found the cottage, and knowing Snow White would be inside, knocked on the door and sweetly said, "Hello, dear. Would you like to try a special apple? It's the sweetest one you'll ever taste. I picked it fresh this morning." Snow White hesitated, remembering she was not to open the door for strangers ever. But the old woman seemed harmless, and the apple looked delicious, almost sparkling. Oh, you could picture the juicy apple. She took one small bite. Oh, suddenly her eyes closed and she fell to the floor. The evil queen laughed wickedly, turned and disappeared into the woods. When the dwarf returned home, they found Snow White laying on the floor, still and silent. They tried everything they could think of, but she would not wake up. Oh my! They gently laid her in a glass case filled with soft flowers and placed it in a beautiful meadow in the forest. She looked peaceful and serene. The dwarf stayed near her, always hoping she would wake up. They must have been very sad. One day, a handsome prince rode through the woods and spotted the dwarfs and the glass case in the meadow. As he came closer, he realized the girl in the case must be Snow White. He had heard of her kindness and beauty. When he saw her face, his heart filled with sadness. He leaned down and gently kissed her on her forehead. Hmm. The moment he kissed her, Snow White's eyes fluttered open. The spell was broken. The dwarfs jumped up and cheered. Snow White smiled at them, then at the prince. After telling him her story, the prince said,
"Come with me. You'll be safe in my castle and never be afraid again."
Snow White agreed, hugged each of the dwarfs, and said with happy tears, "I'll never forget you." She left with the prince to live a joyful life, but often returned to visit her 4 little friends who had given her love and safety when she needed it most. As for the evil queen, when she learned that Snow White was still alive, her anger grew so hot that it shattered her magic forever. She vanished never to return. That means she disappeared. And so Snow White and the prince lived happily ever after, always remembering that kindness, courage, and true friends are the most powerful magic of all. The end. Kindness, courage, and the love of good friends can help you overcome any obstacles. Snow White's kind heart and gentle spirit helped her through tough times, and with the help of friends, she triumphed over evil. The story also teaches us that true beauty comes from within and that love and goodness will always prevail in the end. Do you know anyone who would be so kind in your life? Think about the times maybe you needed help. Did they help you? Maybe you lost your ticket to the ride at an amusement park, or maybe you can't find your scissors when you were doing arts and crafts. Maybe they just said, "Here they are," or helped you find them. Whatever the kind little act, or maybe they just smiled. That's a kind act as well, especially if you're having a rough day. Why did the queen become so jealous of Snow White? Why do you think people become jealous? That's a great question. Why did the queen become so jealous of Snow White? How did the dwarfs show kindness to Snow White? How did they? They took her in, didn't they? They protected her. They loved her. What do you think is more important, being beautiful or being kind? And why? Well, if you're kind, have you ever seen anybody smile that didn't look better? And it makes you look better and feel better. Just smile. Please leave your comments using the YouTube app. Please like the video and by giving it a big thumbs up. Come on, let's see those thumbs up. You know how to do that. Please subscribe to Adventures with Grandma Bonnie. Join me again to go on another adventure. Thanks to Grandpa Ray for helping out today. And also, do something kind today for someone else. Thank you. Bye-bye. See ya.